All right, Coach Flip. First of all, thank you for being here today.
Of
And
course.
first up, I just want to congratulate you on the 4-0 record victory, and just recently, just yesterday, beating the Generals in what you called a boxing match to sum it all up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I called it a 14-round heavyweight fight because that's what it felt like after the game, mentally, physically. That was a good football team we beat yesterday. It's a lot of credit to our players and our coaching staff for the job well done to go on the road, our first time on the road, and to beat a team like that was playing at a very high level. It's a total credit to our coaching staff and our players.
and I don't know if you know this, but this is the first time the Breakers have ever beaten the Generals in both incarnations of the league.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Even back when they was the New Orleans Breakers with Marcus Dupree, they've never beaten the Generals. This is the first time, Coach.
That's pretty cool. That's a good stat to know. On to the next one.
So I want to just go back a little way. So I know your father was a coach when you was younger.
Yeah.
Was being around him during his coaching days and being around football a ton, is that how you figured out what you wanted to do going forward in life?
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to be a football coach. I was very fortunate to work. I was, at a training camp in Indianapolis when I was a sophomore in college as an intern, and realized very, very quickly I was not one of those guys. And so, this your normal 6'2", 220-pound quarterback that doesn't run very good and has an average arm come a dime a dozen, and you're around guys like Peyton Manning as a rookie and guys like that, you realize you're just not them. And so, which was good for me to, I always knew I wanted to coach, knew I wanted to coach before then, but that kind of put the nail in the coffin, my NFL dreams, and so just took off in the coaching career there.
So outside of your father, of course, you've coached under a lot of great head coaches like Tom Coughlin, Lane Kiffin in the Oakland Raiders, and even Doug Peterson on the way to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Which coach on this journey would you have said, like, kind of helped mold you into who you are the most? Where did you take the most inspiration from on this journey?
Yeah, there's two guys. The gentleman that gave me my first job in coaching is a guy named Dave Clawson, who's now the head coach at Wake Forest and doing a great job there. He's rebuilt programs at Fordham. He's rebuilt a program at the University of Richmond, Bowling Green. Obviously, doing a great job at Wake. He gave me my first job and just taught me a ton of not only football but just organizationally and those things. And then the guy that hired me for the first time in pro football was Coach Coughlin, and just learned a ton from him in terms of organization. He just discipline, how to run a franchise. He's just front row seat to in my opinion, a Hall of Fame coach. So those two guys were very, very influential in my career, and they came at a perfect time in my career as I entered the profession overall, and then I entered the profession in pro football.
Now, let's just go to the Breakers, of course, because, I mean, that's who you're coaching right now. The one question mark going into the season on many Breakers fans' minds one of them was the quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
What was the conversations like trying to recruit and coax in someone like McLeod, Bethel, Thompson, who was in Canada lighting it up and just winning? He was a two-time Grey Cup champ. What was those conversations like, and how was you able to recruit him to come back to the States?
Well, I was very fortunate that McLeod and I have a past history together in Philadelphia. He was with us in Philadelphia for our whole training camp, so I got to know him very well. The quarterback room is a very intimate room where you get to know these guys, and because there's not a lot of people in there, so got to know him, and he and I had stayed in touch. And when I got this opportunity, it was mutually good for both sides. And that's usually when things are good for both sides, usually it works out for you. So it was good for him in that he wanted to come back to the States and play. And then obviously it was good for us because we were in need of a quarterback with Kyle Sloter having gone to the XFL.
Talk about what he has meant to this team so far this season.
He's been great. He's been great. And every day he strives to get better. He's never satisfied. I hate to use the term coach on the field because I feel like that's overused, but he knows exactly where everyone's supposed to be. He's a steady Eddie. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. And, we're very fortunate he's here.
So What is it like just having a common presence like MBT in the huddle where you don't have to necessarily worry too much? Because I mean, I've seen interactions with you two on the sidelines where maybe you'll call a play and he'll say, "Coach, I'm feeling this more," and then you have that trust in him to let him do it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime a player has has that much trust in a certain play, usually they make it work, and that's just been my history with QBs is they'll find a way to make it work, and whatever he comes and says to you, it's not just a fly by the seat of his pants idea. It's been well thought out. And there's a reason for why he wants something a certain way.
Now, let's talk about the workhorse that's just been lighting it up in the running back room, Wes Hills. He didn't get a single snap in week 1. What made you decide, hey, I'm going to go with Wes this week? And is it because of how great he has played that you're just thinking, okay, I'm going to ride with the hot hand?
Yeah, that was, just as a coaching staff, a decision we came to week 2. Yeah, I mean, Wes has been great for us. He's been really good, not only running the football. He had 7 catches yesterday. He's done a really nice job catching the football, which I think for him is good to put on tape that he can be an all-purpose back. And the area that I think Wes has improved most on is his pass protection. So, very rarely can you call a guy at any level a 3-down back, but for sure Wes is turning into that for us.
Could we see possibly more of a running back rotation in the future where you're interchanging Anthony and Wes?
Yeah, that's a week-by-week thing. The other thing is I don't like to talk scheme too much in these things.
Oh, I understand, but the defense has just been phenomenal this year, and one player I want to highlight, a couple players actually. First off, Vontae Diggs. I mean, he's just a
Mm-hmm.
tackling machine. He plays the outside linebacker, but his body and mold is of someone that plays strong safety. Kind of talk about what Vontae has meant for this Breakers defense this year.
Yeah, first off, is he brings a swagger to our defense, which I love that our defense plays with. There's a lot of swagger over there, which I love. Uh, he's flying around and doing a great job, shedding blocks, stepping up in the hole, and making plays. He's doing a heck of a job. He just brings an energy and a passion to our defense that I really like.
Now, another defensive player who I call the great value Marshawn Lattimore of the defense, Neville Clark. He is just such a lockdown corner. And are you just surprised that teams still continue trying to throw his way?
Yeah, Neville's improved each week, and he needs to keep improving. And he does a really nice job in our scheme and keeps the ball in front of him. Very rarely do you see the ball get over his head. Yeah, he's improved a ton this year. I'm really proud of him.
Now, I know you don't. I know as a coach you don't like to look backwards at a game, but the one game that all Breakers fans have circled on their calendars after the season ended was the Stallions game.
Mm-hmm.
What does it feel like to finally beat the Stallions and get the Breakers over that hump?
Well, the majority of our coaching staff was our first time facing those guys. So for us, it was a little bit of a unique game in that we see those guys every single day in the hotel. We cross paths at practice. That's where the uniqueness part of it came in. But for us to say, really, we're kind of the next play, next game, next kind of place. So, yeah, it felt great, to beat because they're the defending champions and they've earned that. And kudos to them that they played great and they're a really good football team and they're still a good football team. But for us, it was the most important game of our season because it was our next game.
I had a lot of people messaging me saying, "Hey, don't you think this game kind of feels like a 2019 LSU Alabama feel to it?" And it sort of did, Coach. And I mean, y'all delivered that knockout blow in the fourth quarter. Every time it seemed like the offense would look like it would get rattled, it didn't. Y'all just kept chipping and chipping away.
Yeah, yeah. When I'm outside the building, I don't watch too much football because I've got plenty of football in my life to begin with. So I don't know which game you're talking about, but I'm assuming it was a shootout. But yeah, I mean, it was just that's the way we try to operate. It's just we're next play mentality, and that's what comes with having a veteran quarterback that doesn't get rattled in those situations and wants to stay on the attack. And it's a credit to all those guys on our team for for that.
Now, as a coach, is the mindset each week kind of like, okay, we're both 0-0 each week, or what is the mindset and the mentality in the locker room for the Breakers team?
I think it starts by the way we practice, and that to me is the biggest thing for me personally. Is when we're on the field, we practice, and it is not a walkthrough, it is not a jog through. We are a full speed ahead practice team, and I want to see us flying around, and our guys have bought into that. We talk about a culture of speed around here all the time, and that starts with the way we practice. So I think that has helped us in games and give us confidence, because our team does practice hard. We practice hard, and so that's a credit to those guys.
Well, Coach, I truly appreciate you taking the time to sit in and let me interview you, because you're actually the first coach I've ever interviewed, and I want to
I'm honored, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative of
I don't
this.
know what made
And
me so special, but I appreciate that.
well, I mean, when you have New Orleans in front of your name, you know you're gonna get love from me. And I truly hope that next year when y'all are here, that I'll be able to do this with you in person.
Absolutely, man. That's the way. I hope so too. I hope so too, because New Orleans is such a cool place. It's such a great city, and from a culture standpoint, to a food standpoint, from a sports standpoint, from a love of football standpoint, from the whole state. I mean, Louisiana is just an unbelievable football crazed state. And then
Yes.
so many players come out of the city of New Orleans, and it's just I hope that comes to fruition.
Everything that I'm hearing, Coach, is I think it's going to happen. I mean, that's hopefully a good sign, and I truly hope that I get to see you in person next year, because I'd love to talk to you a lot more.
That sounds great. Hey, let's plan on that.
Let's plan on that. Let's call it. So, like I said, appreciate you stopping in and taking the time out of your busy schedule. So I hope we get to do this sometime again soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.